Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Junior Star League recap of the round of 4. We're going to go ahead and load it to our first series, spawning into the bottom or top left-hand corner of the Biogenesis LE. The Red Terran Pieces. He goes by the name of Alpha Jets from Valley G. And his opponent, the Purple Zerg Pieces, spawning to the bottom right-hand corner. From Just X, he goes by the name of Baxster. Now, a Biogenesis is a map I've recently vetoed, simply because of just how weird the game is here. You got this really short rush distance across the map. I mean, it's like you literally walk down the ramp here and walk up a ramp, and you're basically your opponent's natural. Now, that makes it very agitating, makes it some very weird games. We do already have an SCV scout going out here for Alpha Jets. Usually kind of a sign that you're about to go and check for some kind of cheeky aggression or go mech. You know, you're trying to avoid sending that Reaper out just, too early in the game. That's 50 gas. You're going to probably want to get your factory started now. With that, however, you can go ahead and send a Reaper across the map on this map as well. It is a very Reaper-friendly map. Steve the SCV from Alpha Jet is going to go here to see that there is a natural base down. Baxter also going ahead and throwing out his drone scout as well. It's just something I really like to see out of Baxter because a lot of Zergs rely heavily on that Overlord scout. And honestly, guys, worker scouting is still a thing that's very, very safe to do. I mean, you come out here, you come over and see your opponent is about to, throw down a natural command center. You can easily punish that with some lings across the map. Or you come up here and realize, oh, you're trying to find out what is coming out of that barracks right away in the TVP or I should say PVT or ZVT. Even a TVT for that matter. Let's see, he is going to get over here and catch Steve the SCV. Building that command center. Nice save on that drone there to just throw it into the gas distractor there. It'll be fine. Assimilator. The Vespine Geyser. Going to be able to get back over here and continue to harass that worker building that command center. It is going to delay that natural. Now, on the other side of the map, Alpha Jet's making his way into his opponent's natural with this Reaper to see if he can't find a drone kill or two. He's going to come over here and awkwardly start shooting at the hatchery. Finally going to realize, hey, there's a drone here. Let's go ahead and start trying to get rid of that drone. Drone's going to run away. Going to get picked off. Baxter is being continued to build. Now, we do have a factory follow-up, which does lead into a bit of Hellion play. Gives you some quick map control as well. So this is just going to be your standard Hellion, Reaper Hellion opener into a starport. The Tech Lab, possibly for Banshee or Raven. This is what he has to store here. It's actually going to throw down the second factory. Alright, so we will probably be seeing some battle mech come out of here. Hellion Cyclone pushes. Incredibly strong on the Biogenesis. Queen is going to go ahead and pick off that Reaper. How many kills did that Reaper get? That Reaper got one drone. But he did see everything his opponent is up to. Now Baxter decides he's going to go ahead and throw out some aggression, knowing his opponent is getting pretty cheeky with the factory. Now he's actually going to come up here and scout and confirm that this is going to be a mech opposition. Now, does he actually see this? Yeah, he sees the factory being built. Because drone's vision is actually pretty far. Here we go. Lings are going to come in here on top of this command center. This should actually cancel this. There is a Hellion out on the high ground here. It will not be able to defend this as there's just entirely too many Lings. Unless, of course, they decide to stack up. Now, these Lings don't have speed. Speed does finish up, and he will be able to get in here and get on top of these Hellions. Hellions are going to back off. The door will close, buying these Lings a little bit of time to get that command center up and force it to get on out of there. Now, it is burning down, so Alpha Jets will have to go ahead and get a repair SCV on that or lose it. Follow up for Baxter here is he is going to pick up a third base. And go ahead and get the Banelings on aggression as well. So we should see some Hydroling Bling, your standard composition from Zerg nowadays. Now again, on this map, Hydroling Bling isn't really punished by its kind of lack of mobility, I'm going to say, because the map is so small in terms of distance from your opponent's main to your main, or your opponent's natural to your natural. And the reason why I say there's a little bit more mobility loss in Hydroling Bling is because, mutants can fly. Simple as that. It kind of ignores terrain. Anyway. Baxter gonna pump up some banelings here to get ready for this Hellion pressure coming out here. Roach Warren is on the way. There is standard proper response here. The Hellions. Cyclone is gonna pop out. Now we will see again. It's gonna be a bit of a battle mech type push. Only one Cyclone so far. I'd like to see a few more pop out before he commits. No Starport on the way, and there's no armory. This awkward Cyclone is actually just trapped in here behind the supply depot. It's a hard day to be a Terran when your units get trapped behind a reactor, but here we go. The push is here. Banelings posturing up, trying to find a connection. There's a lot of Banelings in the mix here. Let's see exactly whether or not these connections come down to it being any good. Drones also being pulled off the line. You know, try and help defend. So Banelings being barbecued immediately, not really finding any value out of them just yet. Queens are also trying to join in the mix. A creep timber here on that creep spread would have helped out immaculately to, you know, be able to let these Banelings catch up with these Hellions. Cyclones joining in. A lot of Lings being forced into production here. 12 on the way. Roaches finally popping in. Now, if Baxter could just hold on and get the Roach count up, he will be in a pretty good position. But keep in mind, Cyclones do a lot of damage to Roaches. So naturally, his best response overall here against these Cyclones is just to build up a whole bunch of Lings and get a decent surround. And let the Banelings do the rest. That's exactly what he's looking like he's trying to do. These Banelings, Lings trying to tunnel them in. The Banelings going to detonate on top of the Cyclone. Now a whole lot of damage being dealt there to the Hellions. And with that, these Queens are now off creep, fighting for their lads. More Lings joining in the mix here. Can Baxter hold on? Transfuse going down to keep that Queen alive. There is enough energy here for a few more transfuses. One Queen is going to bite the dust as this pressure continues to push into Baxter's natural. Drones now being pulled off the line here to help defend. The damage has been dealt. Now this economic damage being done as the Lings do come in here to reinforce. Losing a bit of mining time. 10 more Lings on the production tab. 4 Cyclones. The Cyclone is still stuck behind the supply depot, while his buddies are fighting the good fight on the other side of the map. Here we go. So honestly, right now, Baxter's best situation, you know, is to get some Roaches out, maybe turn them into Ravagers, just to have a little bit of that corrosive bile, force some micro out of Alpha Jets. Now, Baxter does have quite a bit of money in the bank here, so he can just go ahead and produce a whole bunch of Lings. Roach speed is on the way, and here we go. The Ravagers now coming into play as well. Third base is under siege. Cyclone's picking off a nice Overlord there. So yeah, there's absolutely no way that Baxter's going to be able to defend this third, so honestly at this point he's just got to max out on Roaches as best he can. On to base, and just have enough army to fight here. Scan being thrown down, and the natural, let's see exactly what his opponent has up to from Alpha Jets here. You see there is a whole bunch of Roaches, which is now armory finally on the way. You know, a lot of players will go ahead and grab that armory early on, you know, to get these Hellbats out, and I love the decision by Alpha Jets to not get the Hellbats right away against their Lings and Banelings. Because, quite frankly, the Hellbat splash damage is very close quarter, which means these, you know, without any kind of splits, Banelings will just be able to chew them up. But with the mobility of the Hellions, however, he is able to, you know, back up and you just deal a little bit of line splash, a little bit more range on the flame, so to speak. Third base is coming back down here for Baxter. Now there is no third on the way for our Terran player. So again, it comes down. Can Baxter hold on here to fight his commence? One Cyclone is going to drop. Queens into production here, but these Hellbats doing a ton of damage here. Corrosive Bile coming down on the front line of these Hellbats. Is there enough for Baxter? Lings coming in from the main to reinforce. However, there's just too many Cyclones from Alpha Jets. Alpha Jets pushing forward once more. Clean up the last of these Ravagers, and we should see Baxter get ready to tap out here. I mean, he's losing his natural base now as well. And like I said, the economic damage has been dealt. A macro hatch being thrown down to try and help spend some of that money. And not having the larva count or being able to deal with these Cyclones in the end. I mean, look at that. They even chew me right through the, you know, the larva cocoon there as the Roach just pop out and just awkwardly get melted. Some awkward SCVs. Is our Cyclone buddy still stuck? Yes, there is still a Cyclone stuck behind that supply depot. He's got a very important guard duty. Spine crawlers being thrown down here. GG! Going to get called out. And Alpha Jets will take game number 1 of this best of 3 series. Moving right along here, ladies and gentlemen, as we make our way to Catalyst LE for game number 2. Spawning into the top left-hand corner of Catalyst LE. Your red tearing pieces from Valid G. He goes by the name of Alpha Jets. Wishing his opponent the GLHF. And in the bottom right-hand corner, his opponent, the purple Zerg pieces from Just X. He goes by the name of Baxster. Now, I'm not sure if it's actually Just X. I just call it Just. I mean, the clan tag. I do believe it is Just X. That's a bit of an issue. It doesn't tell me exactly where game 2 was at, but we're going to go with this as game number 2. Okay, so we do have Baxter going out with the Overlords here, getting his natural hatchery up and running. Steve the SCV going ahead on over here to scout. Forgive me a second here, guys. I am currently looking to make sure that this is... I'm a little confused. I thought this was game number 2, but I think it's game number 2, Catalyst. Anyway, Alpha Jets is going to get in here and take a look around. See exactly what is going on. Make his way back home. Now, there was no drone scout. There's a drone scout. Currently over here doing, once again, the cheeky harassment of that drone, or that SCV. Now this drone is kind of awkwardly stuck as he's going to try and make his way to the gas geyser. It is going to get blocked immediately. And just like that, he will lose the drone. Now that Alpha Jets handled that a lot better this time around. Not again, he says. As he awkwardly blocks his own SCV out with that reactor being thrown down for the factory. So once again, we will see that Hellion follow-up. Starting to look a lot like game number 1's battle mech composition coming out once again. Baxter giving the tear face as a response. So now the dance begins against a Reaper. These Lings, the Queen, trying to pick it off. One Ling is going to fall. This Reaper, heavily damaged at 9 HP left. Just going to back on up and heal up. So the real question is, we have double gas in the main here for Alpha Jets, but now this could also be used for bioplay. Nope, there is some factory going down. Barracks floating on back here, so once again, we will see the battle mech composition come out. Now, Baxter already going to go ahead and grab his third base at 3 minutes in. He needs to get the Overlord in here to spot this, because honestly, once he gets the Overlord in here and sees what he's up against, he'll be able to better prepare against it. I'm sure he doesn't want to go out once again to that same style of play in game number 2. Reaper going to come back in here and poke around once again. Oh, get rid of that. We don't need no EPM. EPM efficiency per minute. Trying to use my follow cam here on these Reapers and Lings. Reaper going to jump on right on up there. That's one big annoyance about Catalyst LE, guys. There are so many cliffs around the map that the Reaper can just slip in and out on. Now, these Lings are going to go ahead and pressure up to the other side. There are a couple Hellions here already in position to deal with this. Here we go, Hellion production on the way. Cyclone's about to start up as well. And the most important thing is that Reaper is still alive, which adds a little bit more DPS. And with the concussion grenade out there, it does allow a little bit more micro potential out of the Terran player with this push coming up. Now, what is the response here 7 roaches already on the production tab along with a lair, so Baxter immediately getting ready to deal with the Hellbats and Cyclones. So this time around, he is going to be a little bit prepared. Meanwhile, we have some Lings making it into the main base. Going to be able to pick up 2 SCVs so far. Dealing a little bit of economic damage and losing some mining time there for Alpha Jets. It's the little things, guys. It's the little things. If you can just slip in there and grab any kind of damage, it's the little things. That poor Overlord. Love the micro there to try and keep it alive. Great play out of Baxter. Here we go. The push is on the way. Now, this time around, however, Baxter is here. He is ready to deal with this. He has his roaches out. And the most important thing is, Terran doesn't know about this. He does not know about the roach fort or anything. Using that Nova voice pack. But here we go. Third base is going to be the point of contention here for Baxter. Whether or not he can hold on. This third, we'll have to wait and see. Roaches are joining in the mix with the Ravager in the back. Ling's getting on the creek. Going to push in here. Hellbat's morphing up. Roaches joining in the fight as well. Going to be able to pick out that first Hellbat. Second one going to fall as well. The Parrot is still under fire. Cyclone's not helping out with that fight. And just like that, Baxter will push it back. Even Danny the Drone joining in here. Saying, get off my lawn, mate. I got work to do. Now, this does push Alpha Jets into a bit of an awkward situation. He's going to have to go down and throw down a third factory. Start getting maybe a starport out for a little bit of Liberator support. As well as, you know, start building some tanks. I mean, tanks versus roaches and Lings are pretty destructive. But however, Baxter looked like he's wanting to change that story right here and now with this push. Third command center is on the way. Now, army supply is heavily in favor of Baxter. Is there enough Terran here to hold on? He's posturing up, sees exactly where this army is at, and here we go. Baxter going to morph up a couple more Ravagers before he pushes in here. He wants to have that corrosive battle, you know, to add a little bit of splash and range. And a little bit more micro out of this Terran opponent is always good. But here we go. Ling's going to jump in on top of these Hellbats. One Hellbat is going to get picked off almost immediately. Second one going to fall. Baxter knocking on the front door. Going to have to back up out of that choke point. Oh, these Hellbats will chew them up. Hellbat's finally taken out. It's just 2 Hellbats and a Cyclone versus a handful of Roaches and a few Ravagers. The push continues. Ling's joining in to reinforce, trying to cut off the Cyclone's retreat. He will get in here and keep the door open for a little bit. There we go. He just knocked down the reactor. He is going to be able to have that door open to continue to push in. He's just going to rotate around in a natural start, dealing economic damage. Alpha Jets in a world of trouble. Going to be forced to lift his natural command center. This third base is not finished either. SCV is trying to run away. Trying to get over here to repair and make sure nothing can get up that ramp. Third base does not get canceled. It will actually get killed off. First supply depot going to get picked off. Second one down as well. The doors are open. And here comes the reinforcements. Lings, Roaches on the way across the map. Now, Baxter, you've done the damage, mate. All you have to do here is just hold on and, you know, decide to ball up. Get a little bit more of the tanks are out. But Baxter knocking on the door saying tanks are playing. He's just going to walk right around the side of the tanks here. A lot of SCVs being dealt. 9 SCVs left for Alpha Jets. Is there going to be enough? Natural command center lifted once again. Also, you can just commit right on top of these tanks. There's nothing to stop you. 2 Cyclones and SCVs against... it's not going to be enough to stop you from killing the tanks. The tanks are going to fall. 2 more tanks do pop out. They're going to siege up immediately. Therefore, they aren't going to get the damage done. GG going to get called out. As Baxter will tie the series at 2 games apiece, or 1 game apiece. I'll be right back with you guys as this does go to a game number 3. I told you I'd be right back. Nice and quick. You know, you gotta love it. Game number 3. We go to Backwater LE. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again to JSL's Round of 4 recap. Where we will have, in the bottom right-hand corner, currently tied 1 apiece. With the purple player in the top left, the red Terran pieces. He goes by the name of Alpha Jets. And in the top left-hand corner of Backwater LE, the purple Zerg pieces. from Just X. He goes by the name of Baxster. Now, Backwater is a map that I have very mixed feelings about against a Zerg. Because it is very, very easy for them to just secure 4 bases. I mean, as a Terran player, you can also very, very easily secure that 4th base. But it's also a big map. In that sense, Zerg has a little bit more time, you know, to be able to gather up any army they are going to need to deal with any kind of cheeky shenanigans from Terran players like Alpha Jets down here. Now, the first 2 games, Alpha Jets has gone for a battle mech composition of Cyclones, Hellions, Hellbats. And second time around, it did get shut down very, very easily. SCV going to go head out and scout, which is kind of an indication that this will be another mech composition. Now, this could also be to say, hey, are you going to try something cheeky this time, Baxter? Anyway, we do have Drone going to pass up with his Terran counterpart, the SCV. Well, that was interesting. They're actually going to give each other a hug before they keep going. It's like, look, man. Hope you find what you're looking for over there. There's not a whole lot going on. I think we got a spawning pool in the way, but that seems about normal for a Zerg, I would think. Anyway, Alpha Jets is going to get up here, poke around, see what he can find. Meanwhile, this drone is going to make its way into the main base. Factory getting denied a little there. Let's see what Baxter does decide to do. Another drone is pulled off the line here. SCV is pulled off the line to chase that SCV or drone. Wow, now getting the units backwards. You gotta love it. But meanwhile, Baxter is just gonna go down here and steal this gas in the natural base. And yes, he's basically seen exactly what his opponent is up to yet again. Now, see, this is why the drone scout is super effective in terms of, as a Zerg player, and you want to find out what your opponent is doing sooner rather than waiting for that Overlord to get across the map. I mean, look at this. This map is so big, and this Overlord is just now kind of getting himself into position outside of his opponent's natural. It's like 2 minutes and 44 seconds into the game. Baxter also going to sit here and deny this natural base. Second factory is on the way. Again, Baxter is going to be able to grab this 3rd base down here, and this is what I was talking about, how easy it is to secure that 3rd a little bit sooner as a Zerg. As you know, you can just expand straight south, and the only other way for your opponent to get in here is to drop behind a 3rd, or, you know, send a Reaper across. As you know, I did discover Reapers can move across that little bridge right there. This makes you kind of want to do some cheeky Reaper plays sometime here. Anyway, Alpha Jets showing his hand once again to this drone. This drone going to get barbecued. He sacrificed himself for that information. Overlord is also going to float on in here and confirm this. Now, one thing I would love to see out of Alpha Jets here with this push is to add on the starport behind it. You know, bring in some Liberators to help with the zoning and force his opponent into a little bit more of an anti-air situation. Roach Warren is on the way. And again, Baxter already dealing with this once to see if he can do it again. To, you know, secure himself that win. Overlord speed is done. Is going to get in here and float around and see exactly everything on the map. The one thing Alpha Jets did not do this time around is get that Reaper out. So he did have that little bit extra gas to start up a factory sooner. The Hellions are going to make their way down to the natural. Baxter coming up with a couple lings. Going to get in here and poke around. Confirm that there is a natural base down. That A move. It would have been nice to see him getting there to snipe a couple mules off. I mean, those were just called down, which means they wouldn't be able to get their full mining done. The roach production is on the way. 3 roaches already out. Cyclone is now joining in the mix as well. Overlord does get picked off. So now Baxter is kind of in the dark. He's supply cat, kind of in the dark, losing that Overlord. He doesn't know exactly when his opponent's going to move out, so if he doesn't have the roaches ready, a scan has been thrown down. If he doesn't have the roaches out and ready to deal with this, it is going to be a long game for Baxter. But now keep in mind, Defender's Advantage is a little bit easier here for Baxter versus the first 2 maps. As it's a very short distance between the 3rd and the natural to reinforce with any army. But it also is a very awkward in terms of where this gas geyser is. There we go. Helibats have morphed up. The Cyclones are on the way. And Roaches going to start to do what Roaches do best. Spit that acid all over the place. Begin melting down that Terran for scrap. Now the Overlord's almost getting picked off there, but he does lose a Hellion in the meantime. Now, see, this is where you kind of want to keep your Hellbats in production. Or, you know, maybe throw down that Tech Lab and the Armory a little bit sooner and get them transformation servos. I hear that's a good unit. I hear it's a good upgrade. Especially for Hellbats. But now Baxter, again, he's just going to be able to ball up a nice Roach Ball. And deal with this. As he sees fit. No Ravagers on the way. Roach speed is about halfway done. Very good. First Ravager on the production tab. But this is going to be a bit of an awkward situation if that Ravager's not done yet. You know, you want the Corrosive Biles with your army sooner. As soon as you can get them. Alpha Jets is also supply cap behind this. So his production is going to be kind of limited. Now he does go ahead and start up the tech labs on these factories a little bit sooner. 2 supply cap depots on the way to deal with that. Third base going down for Alpha Jets as well. And he's just going to back on up to save his army. I love this decision by Alpha Jets just to back up. Realize his aggression is not going to work here against this army of Baxter, Roaches, and Ravagers. You know, just to come back home and defend. First 2 tanks are on the way. And Baxter is kind of on a bit of a timing here. He has to get in here and deal the damage before these tanks get out, because otherwise, if these tanks are on like the defensive side of things, Alpha Jets will fare a little bit better. But here we go, Baxter knowing this is going to have to push right on in here. He's going to get here to start slaying as much as the army as he can. Hellbat splash damage is very real in the front line, but is there more Roaches than what these Hellbats can handle? It does look that way, as he is going to continue to push forward. Tanks do pop out. Going to siege up here in a second and be able to start raining that splash damage all over that army. But SCVs have been pulled off the line, so economic damage being dealt now. This Baxter slowly secures himself a bit of a lead here. You know, you delayed a little bit of timing mining in your opponent's natural with the SCV pool. And you also killed also his SCVs, which gives you a nice healthy worker lead. You know, 18 workers up, your army's up. You know, you're looking pretty good, but now again, as this Terran could just turtle up with some tanks very, very easily, it does make pushing in here a little bit more difficult. Baxter does have +1 missile attack all the way back home. There's no armor. Armor is down. Do you have any upgrades for these mech units? Yeah, you do have +1 upgrades on these mech units. So these tanks will do quite a bit of damage to these 1-0 Roaches. It looks like Baxter is going to push in here with that +1 missile attack being done. Some Marines also in the mix now. Add a little bit of anti-air potential. Some of these tanks are not sieged up. And Baxter is going to try and jump on top of these tanks before they do siege up. Throws a bow coming down on top of this bio ball. Tanks getting cleaned up now. 2 tanks are left standing. 2 more have just fallen. A tank on the high ground, however, might cause a little bit of a problem. Baxter dealing even more damage here. Resetting the tank count a little bit as well, so he will be in a very good position to either keep pushing, which he is going to decide to do. But again, the tank on the high ground is more than making up for the defense here. With no vision to be able to hit that, Marauders even out on the map now as well. So this army is getting pretty countered by Alpha Jets very effectively, as Roaches and Marauders do chew through Zergians pretty quickly, especially if they're Roaches. He is sporting that awesome Roach skin though. That makes up for something, right? Because you look awesome, you're effectively 100 times better. But here we go. Tank's going to siege up once again on the low ground here. The splash damage is so real right now. SCVs being pulled off the line yet again. Lings jumping on the tanks in the back line, doing as much as they can to clean these up. Roaches continue to push forward. The last tank is going to fall. There is still a tank on the high ground, however. 2 more tanks do pop out. They are going to be able to continue to just basically slaughter these Roaches on the high ground. They realize Alpha Jets actually unsiege that tank on the high ground. Natural Command Center now in danger of getting picked off as well. There's about 50% health left there. At Baxter, he's just going to back up yet again. Now behind us, he does have a 4th base down. So he is getting ahead in that base count even more. As the push does continue here. Overlord is going to get picked off. More Ravagers being produced here. Love the Overseer sitting here in that lovely surveillance mode. And Alpha Jets is really starting to, you know, feel the heat here. He does have a 3rd base mining. But how long can he survive here just slowly producing these tanks like this? I mean, unless you can get a dropout on the map, there's absolutely no way he can do damage on the other side of that, which means Baxter's just going to continue to grow bigger and bigger. And as you see it, Spire is on the way, so now we do have Overlords, or not Overlords, Broodlords get ready to come into effect here. So Hive done yet? No, there is no Hive just yet. Infestation Pit should be on the way. Bailing Nest. I guess he's just going to go for mutas here to deal with the tanks. As you know, there's not a whole lot of anti-air outside these Marines. There's not even any missile turrets, so why not just bring in the mutas to deal with the siege tanks? What's this drone up to? What are these drones up to? Bringing up supply, I guess? I mean, Baxter is pretty much maxed out at this point, so unless it's just a bit of a mist rally, I guess he's just trying to free up a little bit more supply for army. Now, Alpha Jets has not been out of this game by far, and the one thing he's got to watch out for, we do have a 5th base on the way now for Baxter, is that the fact this Spire is done, and I guess, you know, he did scan to see the Spire is done, which means Thors are now going to start to be brought into play here to help deal with the muta attack on the way. Gonna bring a little bit of anti-air. Centrifugal hooks and +1 melee also on the way, and melee does affect bailing damage. Here we go. Baxter just looked like he wants to go one final push. There are some tanks on the high ground, tanks in the back lines here, so a lot of splash damage will be able to be dealt. And here we go. The push from Baxter going to come in here. Bailing's kind of stuck in the back, not up front to deal with the bio. But it doesn't matter. He's just going to continue to push forward. All the bio gets shredded by the Bailing connections. Tanks getting picked off as well. The Thor going to jump in here, but this is not enough to protect the Thor anymore. And Baxter going to knock out the command center as well on the low ground and continue to push directly into the main. Supply depots go up. Of course, the battle's going to land on the tanks anyway and pick off the last tank. Tank count has officially been cleared out. The reactor's now under siege as well. They continue to knock down the production. The Vikings joining in the mix. I'm not sure what you plan on doing with these Vikings here, Alpha Jets. These probably should have been Liberators. The mutas do joining in. No GG is called, but he is going to tap out, and Baxter does secure himself the 2-1 victory.